Hey Google, turn the lights off.
Got it. Turning 4 lights off.
Much better. And now you might be wondering, why am I sitting on my own bed filming this video? Well, it's actually because I'm way too lazy to move the Sonos One speaker that I have right here. And I've been using this Sonos One alongside with the Yeelight bulbs that I have in my room with Google Assistant integration for the past 6 months. Well, actually, it's heading to the seventh one right now. The pandemic doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. But that's not the point of this video today. I'm going to share my experience with you after using Google Home Assistant specifically for the past 7 months. Before we begin though, the first thing that I would really want to highlight is that this is not gonna be a review of the Google Home Assistant, but I'm just gonna share you my experience over these past 7 months to really evaluate if the system is considered mature enough or not for day-to-day use. So I got my notes right here actually, and the first thing that I want to talk about is the Sonos One integration. Is it officially available here in Malaysia? Well, technically not, but the way to get it working is really easy. Just head into your Sonos account, change your account's country to the US, and then for some reason, Google just says, okay, you are from the US, so now you're eligible to use Google Home Assistant. And of course, there are other smart home services available as well. For example, we have Apple's HomeKit, Amazon Alexa, that's the most obvious one other than Google Home. And then we also have, to some extent, I would consider IFTTT to be Smart Home Assistant. And then, of course, Samsung SmartThings, just to name a few. But why I stuck with Google Home is because I'm already an Android user and I can do this to pull up the voice assistant, and then I can tell it to do whatever, which integrates really well with the whole Google Home, all those kind of things. So yeah, it's an obvious choice for me. So when I got the Sonos One and also the Yeelight bulbs, 4 of them actually, installed in my room, I immediately headed into the Google Home app and then integrate all of those services into my account and then create a room that's aptly named bedroom and then pull in all of these 5 devices into that particular room. That way, all of the actions that I want to perform, I can just mention the name of the room. For example, hey Google, turn off 4 lights in bedroom.
Got it. Turning off 4 lights.
See? I mean, those kind of integration is useful if you already named your room. And the reason why I name it is because the 4 other light bulbs, no, not 4, 6 other different smart light bulbs that is in the studio are named something else. So I don't want to, tell Google to turn on my lights and then even the lights in the studio will be turned on when I'm at home, because I don't want that to happen. And one motivation that I set up this kind of smart home system is because I am lazy and I really like this kind of automation system. So yeah, I decided to set it up in my room, and I can tell you that Google Home has been giving me quite a lot of issues over the past 6 months. No, 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. You see, once you got the Google Home app installed on your phone, what you can do is just head into the Home app, and then you can see there's an option called Routines. That is where you can set your home automation routines. So you got a trigger that does certain types of action, which is technically IFTTT, but in Google Home version, I mean, it's automation. Automation works like this. If there's a trigger, then that trigger will trigger some action, and it's all defined by you. So let's just look at a few problems that I've had with Google Home. So in my notes here, I have stated that there is only a few special routines that cannot be deleted, and you can only modify them. So these special routines differentiate themselves by having this kind of logo beside their name. So for example, home and away, you can see there's a special logo beside it. Bedtime, commuting home, commuting to work. Good morning, I'm home. Leaving home, and also workday. All these are considered special routines. I don't know how to name them. I mean, these routines already come with the service and you cannot delete them. And as you can see, these routines also have special functionality in them, or special triggers, I would say. So the home routine is activated when someone's at home or when someone says to the assistant, someone's home, as stated in the app here. So one of the problems I have with this routine though, actually in all of these special routines in general, is that, you see, when someone comes home, use presence sensing. I don't know what presence sensing is. Is it through GPS? Is it through Wi-Fi? Does Google somehow know what Wi-Fi I connected is considered the home SSID? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of vague, but also it's not accurate. For many times when I got back home from the studio, I always linger around downstairs for a while, like maybe 5 to 10 minutes before I head upstairs, which is my room. And my Wi-Fi always gets connected when I'm parking the car. So if it does use the Wi-Fi detection as a trigger, then when I'm parking the car, it should have triggered the routine, right? But no, that's not the case. I've tried it many times and yeah, it's just way too slow and also inaccurate. So I ended up not using the home routine, which is why the home routine will do nothing as stated here. And do keep in mind that there's no way to actually disable this routine or delete it. So yeah, I just set the trigger there and then the routine will do nothing. But that aside though, the Google Home routines work pretty well most of the time. For example, hey Google, dim.
Dim.
That's a
Hi,
custom
the
action.
opening ceremony in Tokyo is almost here, and for the first time in history, skateboarding will be an official sport.
What?
I can give you more fun facts like this about the games. Just ask.
Anyway, so as you can see, the dim voice action will set the lights to 70% brightness, and then it will also say the word dim so that I actually know that the trigger has been triggered. But for some reason, like for example, the workday routine that I have here, this is the most elaborate routine that I've been using. And here's what I set it to do. So at 10 a.m., which is my usual start to work kind of time, and you can see it will tell me what's the time, tell me what's on my calendar for that day, is it gonna rain, and then set the Sonos One speaker to 50% volume. And then for every subsequent hour, it will tell me what's the time, and this is on the dot, on the hour, on the precise minute. So at, let's just say 1 p.m, then it will tell me it's 1 p.m. So I did this to actually emulate one of Mac OS feature, which I really like by the way. Since it tells me every hour that has passed, I can keep track of my time throughout the day and work a bit more efficiently, I would say. So yeah, there's that. And then I do this until 10 p.m, which is the last hour to tell me what's the time. And then at 2 a.m, it will help me turn off the lights if I ever just crash on the bed and forgot to turn off the lights, which is, yeah, something convenient, I would say. But this routine gave me a lot of issues. The first issue that I have was like 2 months back. For some reason, just one day out of nowhere, Google starts telling me the time like 1 minute before the hour hits. For example, when it's 1 p.m, it will tell me it's 1 p.m. That's what I set it to do, and that is what it does most of the time. And 2 months ago, it started to tell me the time 1 minute before the hour happened. So when it hits 1 p.m, for some reason, Google Home Assistant just tells me it's 12:59 p.m. What? And this went on for quite a long time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And somehow it just fixed itself one day. Don't know what's going on. And then like last month, another issue arose, which as you can see, my workday routine here has the command "what's the time" without the question mark. And I worded it this way in a very specific manner is because the early versions of this routine had a question mark at the end of "what's the time" because that is how I usually type my questions to everyone, correct? And with that question mark, for some reason, again, one day out of nowhere, Google starts telling me the definition of time instead. Wow, that went on for like 2 weeks straight.
This is the definition of time: the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future regarded as a whole.
What's the time?
The time is 8:03 p.m.
It didn't get resolved by its own, so I ended up tweaking this routine, and for some reason, removing the question mark fixed that issue. So I had to edit every single command in this routine to just remove that damn question mark. And now it finally tells me what's the time. So what gives, Google? But at the end of the day, like what I said earlier, when Google Home works, it really does work. I mean, it's kind of like the IT guy in the office. When everything works perfectly fine, the IT guy is the most underappreciated guy ever, and is often ignored as shown in TV shows, movies, all of those stuff. But when there's an IT issue or when the Wi-Fi is dead, then the IT guy will get all the blame. So I think this is quite a similar situation. When it works really well, and I just take it for granted. But when it does have an issue, that's when my frustration starts to pop up. And overall, am I happy with the Google Home solution, integration and whatnot? Quite. Is it perfect? Not really. And I would say one of the main reasons why I'm still eyeing on Alexa is because they have a desktop integration, which for some reason Google does not have any integration even with the Google Chrome browser. So yeah, each time when I'm working on my desktop and I just want to change the light color or brightness, for example, then I have to whip out my phone or just scream across the room to change the light, and that's kind of frustrating. Oh, I can also further enhance the usability of Google Home by integrating multiple different services, and actually I've already done that. I integrated both the Yeelight and Sonos into Google Home, but I also linked up everything to my Samsung SmartThings. For some reason it works, it doesn't clash, and they still are able to communicate with each other. So if I turn off the lights in the Yeelight app, then both Google Home and Samsung SmartThings will get the correct information that the lights are turned off. It was such a relief when I found out that they actually talk to each other. I also got the Samsung Smart Tag, and then I also configured those smart tags to turn on and off the lights, which again works really well with each other. All of these different services, they don't clash, and I really appreciate that. But the integration between Google Home with YouTube Music, or maybe Sonos in particular, and its integration with YouTube Music, Spotify, all of those services. I mean, the voice assistant has to be passed down to the Sonos server, and then Sonos will get connected into the music streaming service. I guess that's how that works, but it just doesn't work most of the time. I mean, with Spotify, it works really well. For example, hey Google, play music from 8-Bit Big Band on Spotify.
Got it. Playing the Spotify playlist called This Is Big Bang.
But at the end of the day, am I gonna stick with Google Home? Maybe yes for now, and I'm still looking at some other home services. Maybe I'll try Alexa if Google Home breaks to the point where it broke me instead. So, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. we'll be happy to answer them, and I will assure you that this is the last time I'll be filming in my bed. So yeah, goodbye. Hey Google, good night.
Currently in Seri Kembangan, it's 27 degrees and clear. Saturday, it'll be partly cloudy, with a high of 34 and a low of 24. Although there's only a very slight chance of rain in Seri Kembangan on Friday, there's a moderate chance of rain on Friday starting at about 3 a.m. and continuing through the night. Good night, Koki.